Hi and welcome to today's project. I'm going to, this is the first one of two projects this week. I'm going to show you how I make my moulds. I've had a few questions about mould making and about some people not being able to get them in the UK, and that I had this problem. In America you can buy these. This is made from HDPE. And in America you can buy these moulds ready-made, and I couldn't get hold of them in the UK, so I just made my own. I have several different ones. This is for 2 small pen blanks in there. That's 1 larger pen blank. This is a box blank. These are 2 bottle stoppers, and that's for 4 pens. And I just make these. I buy HDPE chopping boards. You can get them in the UK, you can get them online. I managed to get them at a catering company because they use large HDPE cutting boards. So I just went off, I think, for, I don't know, a sheet, I don't know what size, probably about the same size as this. It was probably about 1.5 feet by 1 foot, and it was about £12 or something like that. And you could probably get, well, a couple. I got all of these from the board I bought, but I bought a large board, and then I had a few remnants left, which you can see I've got some offcuts and stuff here, which you keep all of that bits because you never know when you want it. Basically, all I did was decided on the size I needed, and then I cut the bottom, taking away amount for the sides, and I just drilled it with, I think it was a 3mm, and they're just all screwed in, and they screw out, so I can take the mould completely apart to get the blank out. Also on the edge you'll see I actually use hot glue, because an odd time you'll get a bit of bleed out, especially when you're taking these apart all the time and putting them back together. The edges are not quite as close together, so I just use a bit of hot glue on the end, and that keeps everything in there, and then it's easy to, I use mould release in them, but there's not a lot that sticks to the HDPE. I've never tried not using it. I think I would always use the mould release on these. So that's really how I make them, and I just wanted to go over that with you. I mean, you can make them to any size you want, which is great because you don't have to buy a set size. I mean, these I get 4 20mm by 150 blanks out of. So, and I just basically used a permanent marker to show me the height that I need to get the resin to fill to, or the wooden resin or whatever. So that's it. It's so simple. It just doesn't get any more simple. I think I've gone a bit overkill with screws here. I really don't think you need that many. I think you probably need 1 on each corner, and I would say you don't need that one's there. Maybe 1 in the middle there. I think that's probably all you need, but I went a bit overkill. So that's those. So back to today's project. As you all know, I make the jewellery, and the jewellery banks are probably the most difficult I find to make, because normally what I've been doing is using plastic corrugated boarding to put around the edge, but it is a nightmare to get off, and I spend more time taking it off than I do actually making the ring and doing everything else. So what I've got here, my ideal size for a ring, I think, is about half an inch wide, because by the time you sand it back and get the sizings for your finger, I think that's about the right size to get the square at the top. This is just personal preference, so everything on this is just personal preference. So that's the size I'd be going for, and this is just under 60mm, the length, by 35mm. For me, I think this is an ideal size for the ring blank. So I decided today that I wanted to make a mould for these, but it has to be an upright mould, because if I'm wanting to put different colours in and stuff like that, I need it to be upright so that I can mix it. You see that right now? Yeah. So it needs to be an upright mould. And the other thing, which was probably an added complication, is I actually want to be able to see through either side, so that when it's in the mould I can see how it's looking at the bottom there, and if I'm wanting to add certain colours to swirl in a certain direction, I would be able to do that from the top, and I would be able to see what's happening into the mould. So this is what I'm trying today. Don't know if it's going to be successful, but we're going to have a go. So my plan is to make two. The thickness of this HDPE board is actually 15 mils, which is just slightly over the ½ inch. So that works out great because it gives me a little bit of wriggle room putting a piece of wood in. I'm not bothered about the resin going down the sides, because that all gets sanded off and that anyway, but it definitely needed to be at least 1/4 inch for the wood to go into. So this is the idea I had here. This is obviously the HDPE board, and then what I thought I would actually do is cut it into a U shape so that the blank at the sizes that I want will fit into it. So all I have to do is cut the wood to that size and I can slot it in. So I thought I'd cut it into a U shape with a bit of space at the top if I want more resin in. And I'm going to just cut these on the bandsaw here into a U shape. And then what I'll do is I'll come back. Once I've cut that out, I'll come back and I'll explain the next bit. Okay, that's the HDPE cut. I've just kept the two together so that I can slot the wood down inside. So that's just the centre part. So the next part that I need is, this is 3mm acrylic sheeting that I just bought from, I think it was Amazon. And all I've done with this is I've already gone away and cut. It's obviously got its plastic coating still on it. So I've cut a piece for either side here. I'm hoping that the resin won't actually stick to this. But as I say, it's a bit of an experiment and I'm not too sure yet. So I've cut the two bits for either side. I'm going to keep the two together because it might give it a little bit more balance. And now what I'm needing to do is I've decided to hold this one together with 5mm bolts, and I'm going to get the butterfly ends for it, just so it's a little bit easier taking them apart. So these will, I should just drill through probably twice in each bit, coming down twice down here and then once through the middle here, and I should be able to with a little spanner get them tight enough to hold them in. And I will seal the edges with hot glue when I make these as well. So the thing to do now is I'm going to go away and drill. These are 5mm, so it'll be a 5mm drill I'll use to go through here. And I need to go all the way through both sides. So that's probably about the final bit of it, but I shall go away, drill that, and then I'll come back. Okay, that's the two bits of plastic drilled. There were 5mm screws and I used a 6mm drill. That was me just checking that basically that they all fitted in. So now the truth will be if this manages to work with the resin. So like I say, it's just nuts that I've got on here to snow. But I definitely think the butterfly nuts will be better for this, because it'll be easier to release them. So I'm going to get this all together, and I am then going to just give it probably a wash out and let it dry for a while. I shall put some mould release. The only thing that I actually have is silicone mould release. Don't know if it's going to do the job, but we'll just have to see how it works. And I think I'm going to get some resin poured into these, and it'll be wooden resin for the rings. I'll go and get some poured in, and we'll see how we get on. I might come back when I just to show you the resin into it. I'm not going to go through all about the putting the resins in, because I did that in previous projects that I've done, and we've looked at that many times before, so I'm not going to repeat that. So yeah, so that's it. So all I used was really a couple of pieces of 3mm plastic and a small offcut of the HDPE in order to get that round. Where is my blank? It's so hot here today, I've had to put the blank inside because it'll melt. So that's how it should work. So I need to go and cut some wood to the right size now and get that in there, and we'll go away and get that done. I'll show you it a bit later. Okay, that's the resin actually poured in. I put a fluorescent resin in at the bottom, and just a slight tint of blue in at the top. The mould seems to be holding up so far. You can see it's spreading between the two, which could be a bit of an issue if it was two different colours. But apart from that, I'm quite happy with how it's all worked out. We'll demould tomorrow and see how easy it demolds. Okay, that's the mould all dry. It's been sitting overnight. I've just loosened the bolts off. I haven't actually tried to get it out yet. And the thing now is to see if we can get it out of this mould and how easy it's going to be. I've taken the hot glue off from around the edges, so let me position this camera a little bit better here. I'm quite pleased with how the mould is. I'm just hoping it releases quite well. Most of these moulds don't release that great. Hold on, I'm going to move the camera to a better position. Right. Let's get these bits off. This table's on a squint today. The bolts with a butterfly clip will be a lot better. The bolts gone. Another scorching day here in the Highlands of Scotland. It's supposed to reach 30 today. It never normally happens here. Stop rolling down. Right, let's see how well this comes out. Yeah, well stuck. None of them are ever that easy, but maybe see if we can get something to... Oh, got a bit of movement there. Right, let me see if I can find something to edge in there. First one, did it survive it? It did, lovely. See if we can get this second one out without losing a finger or two in the way. Right, I'm just going to give it a knock. Okay, little rubber mallet that came out. Two seconds. That's it. Lovely. It's definitely a successful mould. A lot easier than getting it out of that other one. Okay, don't know if you get a good view of those there. Pretty delighted with them. Came out, mould worked brilliant. Just a bit of mould release on there, nothing spectacular. Bits are just peeling off. So yeah, plastic mould with acrylic certainly is the way forward. I think I've sussed out how to do my rings like that now. Alright, hope you enjoyed it. Thanks very much for watching. Any comments, just put them in the comment box below and I'll get back to you as soon as I can. Thanks very much.